There we go. I'm just working on stuff, so I'm going to come on here and take a break. So let me just get all set up here. Oh, sorry. I'm on YouTube and Facebook. Hello. Just getting all set up here. I'm working on a bunch of financial paper stuff, and legal stuff. I needed a break. Okay, let me see here. It's from Dee. So hi, Dee. Love your new podcast intro with the baby image. Yeah, I got my little. She said it was really hard to find when it was just us because her brother was always in front of that camera. So she said it was a real challenge. Your relationship and friendship with your adult daughter is inspirational. I love your grandma. Hat, I'm guessing. Yeah, hat. Yeah, established. Yeah, because my granddaughter's just 1 year old. Thanks so much for that, Dee. I really appreciate that. We put a lot into that podcast. Let me rephrase that. My daughter puts a lot into that podcast. Takes her like 5 to 8 hours to edit each podcast. I just found that out the other day. I thought, maybe 2 hours, 5 to 8 hours to edit. She's a perfectionist, and it's all volume, different camera angles, and all that stuff. So back and forth, because there's two of us doing it together. So yeah, give her a lot of credit. She's very good at all that stuff. Yeah, I'm working on a bunch of financial papers and spreadsheets with the company. Oh God, I swear to God, it just makes me nauseous. I'm so bad at it. Like what I mean is, I've got a phobia about accounting. I don't know why. I mean, I get it done. But I don't know why. I've got this mental block when it comes to account. We've all got something like that, something that we know we can do, but we avoid it. And then when we've got to do it, it's just a total disaster. And, but yeah, anyway. Oh, I'm dying to find out the teenage version of the pool story. I don't want to word it like this, but you'd have to hire me for coaching. It's sort of next level, and it's not that interesting. You wouldn't want to pay all that money just to hear that story. I save it for coaching because it's kind of a bit more raw. There's a lot in it. And but it's next level and really drives that pool story point home. But it's the same idea, exactly the same idea. You deal with bad behavior and then you focus on the good kid. Deal with bad behavior fast, get it over with, and then you put your energy and your focus into the good kid. Okay, yeah, right, Dee. Guess I'll have to hire her just for that. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not that interesting. And I don't tell it to every client. It's just the ones who need to hear it. It is a teenage story, but sometimes I'll tell people with younger kids too. Anyway, and I leave a lot out. I specialize in teenagers. So working with some of the teenagers I worked with, you can just imagine some of the stuff that happened. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, let me introduce myself. Thank God TikTok stayed in the United States, as we all knew it would. There's no way they could get rid of that. Anyway, so thank God, because that's my biggest platform. It probably wouldn't have affected my business that much, but still, I love TikTok. So I'm really glad it's back. Anyway, I'm on Facebook right now. So welcome back. My name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. I'm a mother. I'm also a grandmother. If you go on the link above or BratBusters.com, you can check out my sorry, my camera angle on YouTube is all messed up. What's going on there? Anyway, you go to BratBusters.com. You can get my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, and look at the podcast. I'm going to be right back. Oops. Oh, that beanie was too hot. And I've got hat hair now, so I can't not wear a hat. It's all sweaty. Okay, so let's get going with your questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Sometimes I go off on a spiel because most of what I get is toddler discipline questions. And if I just focus on that, people think all I talk about is toddlers and discipline. That is a very tiny part of my business. My whole mission is to help you bond and connect with your children as a calm leader. Discipline is something we just have to do to get out, and we get it all done out of the way. Okay, did you ever have 3 under 4 years old? No. Nope. Although I very well could have, because I miscarried multiples when my son was 1.5, I want to say, maybe 2. So yeah, I could have had. They said there was at least 2 in there, but I lost most of them in the toilet. So they just counted connections or something. I don't know what they were doing in there. I didn't ask. I didn't want to know. But anyway, so yeah, I could have. Would have been a very different experience, because when people have a lot of little ones, there's not a lot of reasoning going on. There's just managing crazy impulses. So it's really demanding. It's a lot more work to relax and enjoy your children when you've got a bunch of them who are really little. But that's a short-term thing. Once they're a bit older, it gets easier, usually. Okay, so, and thanks so much for your support with the podcast. We are blown away by how well it's going. And I don't mean just like millions of numbers and all that. It's not so much that, it's the support. People are really, all my clients that are mention it, people are really liking it. I think because my daughter and I do it together. So I think that's a big part of it. She's sort of my resume, I guess, in a way, but also we're best friends. We're business partners. She doesn't like me calling her a business partner. She's actually an independent contractor, but anyway, it's just the way we've set it all up legally. But yeah, so she's not actually a business partner, but she is definitely my partner in crime with this business, because without her, I couldn't run it. Not to the extent that we have been, for sure. So, okay. Did your friends ever ask you for parenting advice since you're a parenting coach? I wasn't a parenting coach when my kids were growing up. So no, but people would sometimes ask me anyway. But yeah, I wasn't teaching this. And no. Oh, I don't know when it's coming out. I think it might be this week. I don't even remember which episode it was in the podcast. I made such a fool out of myself. And as soon as I said to my daughter, even during the podcast, do not edit this out. I want you to see what a doofus I am. Yeah, I did something. It was just embarrassing. Anyway, that'll be coming out soon. So I like all that stuff left in. I never like to look polished or anything like that. I don't like people who are polished anyway. I don't like perfection. I like real, honest, down-to-earth people. So that's what you get here. That's for sure. So yeah, I'm kind of cringing. I don't even know if I could listen to that. It was so embarrassing. I just did something really stupid. Okay, now let me see here. Sydney, hi. My son just turned 3 and my husband and I are having a difficult time with knowing how to deal with his angry communication, shouting at us, talking back. How would you deal with that? Okay, that's never him. That's you. That's learned behavior. He's doing that because you're not a leader. He's actually screaming for leadership. That's all he's doing. It's just a tell. It means he doesn't respect you. Remember, we're never fixing kids here. We're fixing and teaching parents. You lead, they will follow. You can only control yourself. So you lead. Have you ever had like a mentor, a coach, a teacher, someone that you look up to? They make you feel great about yourself. They bring out the best in you. That's what this is. When you're a leader, you bring out the best in them. You don't get all that attitude garbage. It just doesn't happen. Because even as an adult, if someone makes you feel great, how do you treat that person? That's what I do. I teach you how to make your kids feel great about themselves. You're the source. Pardon me, I just forgot a hiccup. You're the source of that. I keep getting the hiccups the last weekend. I think because I'm doing a bunch of accounting stuff, oh shoot, just a sec. Anyway, you're the source of them feeling good about themselves. When they like themselves, when they're with you, you also give them high self-esteem and they treat you like gold. Work on yourself. Check out my behavior board. Might be a good place to start. That's the training wheels with all this stuff. You might want to look at the boot camp course or look into coaching also. Anyway, it's all you. I managed to get respect with all those kids I worked with, teenagers, toddlers, and everything in between. Did I just luck out and get them? And by the way, I never worked with easy kids ever. That's not what I was doing. So did I just get them all on a good day, or was it me? Am I a leader, or was I just lucky? So, okay. This was cute. I just have this written down here. I always talk to parents about how to lighten the mood, how to be fun, because children's love language is fun. You want to deal with bad behavior, but then you want to switch things around as soon as possible and be fun, be happy, be jovial, be positive. Everyone's drawn to that anyway. So this one mom, she said when she feels that her kids are kind of in a bit of a mood, they're not really being naughty, but they're just kind of cranky and that, she takes their feet and pretends it's a phone. And she calls it the foot phone. She goes, oh, wait a minute, your foot's ringing. Hello? She talks into it, lightens the mood. I did stuff like that all the time, but I don't think I ever did a foot phone. But I did a lot of weird stuff like that. I used to talk into a fork or a knife or something. Oh, hello. So I did do stuff like that, but I never used their foot. What a great idea. So you're always trying to lighten the mood. You're always trying to be fun. Children's love language is fun. It's my love language too. I'm very positive. I like happy, fun stuff. I love laughing. So I have a lot of little kid in me. I think that's why I can relate to them so much. I never grew out of that fun, goofy stuff. I love to giggle. So do kids. Just because I'm 64 doesn't mean I don't like to be goofy. Okay. What can you say about spanking? Nothing really. It's like yelling. I don't condone either one of those, but a lot of parents do it. And you do it because you don't know what else to do. I teach you what else to do instead. That's all. I was going to say there's no judgment here. There's a pack of judgment here. You know, I hate timeout. I hate the countdown method. I hate diversion. I hate all this mini therapy session garbage discussing all their big feelings when they're mad and upset. So I do judge. But I don't judge hitting or spanking and yelling, because I know a lot of parents do it and it's probably what was done to them and they survived it. I'm not condoning it, but it's just you're only doing it because you don't know what else to do. Are you the only ones? You must not be the only ones that are thrilled that TikTok is back in the United States. That's where I have a real soft spot for TikTok. I'm in Canada, but TikTok is where I started on social media 2 years ago, and I blew up overnight on TikTok. So I have a real soft spot for that. It's my biggest platform. So I would have been really upset if all my American TikTok friends weren't there. I mean, I'm sure they would have found me elsewhere. It probably wouldn't have affected my business, but I'm so glad they're back now. They were only shut down for a few hours. Okay, my son is 6, and this is Alexa. My son is 6. Thought my machine was going to go there. I hate it when I get a client with your name because I have to make sure I don't say it, or their kids. I don't like working with someone with kids that name because of my, you know what. My son is 6 and I homeschool him. How can I make it more exciting for him so he wants to do it? Okay, good question. I'm going to answer that very easily. You don't try and make everything fun. You teach them sometimes you got to do the hard, crappy stuff in life. That's okay. It's better to teach that muscle that you got to do the yucky stuff, like take out the garbage. If you're always trying to make everything fun, your kids are going to turn into adults who have no self-discipline. Oh, I don't want to do that. That's not fun. Mom said everything should be fun, and that I should want to do it. I should really want to do my taxes. If I don't, I won't do it. You see, you got to teach them to do the hard stuff. And it's just a muscle. It's just a muscle like anything else. See, I never tried to make anything fun for my kids if I knew they didn't like it and they were going to have to do it anyway. Like, you think I would have made taking out the garbage fun for them? Why would I do that? Why would I? I always taught them you got to do what you need to do before you can do what you want to do. So that's the pleaser parent style. I know it's trendy to try and do that, but you're going to raise self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues if you don't teach them to do the hard stuff, okay? God, I wish I had a filter sometimes. I come across so hard. But anyway, it's just, I just say it like it is. I like to get my point across fast and move on. Okay. Okay. Yelling for a 19-month-old. Yeah, you can't correct that. Just ignore it. And then when they start talking quietly, then you give them attention. You got to be fast. As soon as they yell, ooh, no, you walk away quietly. Okay. So, but you got to keep doing it. It could become a game though, if you back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So be careful with that. Just sort of drag it out a bit more. But yeah, they learn through repetition, repetition, repetition. Don't discuss it. All these mini therapy sessions with toddlers are absolute crap. They're for you, not for your toddler. They're about actions. So you use consistent corrective actions. When they scream, go, shh, and then just walk away. They'll eventually catch on, maybe after 50 to 100 times. So I feel like I'm going to get the hiccups again. Just a sec. God, I keep getting the hiccups. I'd say the last week or so. Sorry, just a sec. Okay, could you give examples? This is from Sugary Epiphany. Could you give examples of the kind of conversation, playing games you do to make toddlers feel loved? Because you talk a lot about making them feel good. Mostly I get it, but sometimes I need inspiration. Okay. So you watch how they play and you join them. It goes something like this. Hey, what are you doing? Can I play too? Then you can redirect them and guide them into other kinds of play. But I always enter into their world first. So whatever they're doing, they might just be sitting there with an elastic. And you know how I learned this? I used to work with disabled children too, with autistic children. Very hard to connect with some of them. So what I would do is whatever they were doing, I would do it too. And then you'd sort of get, and then because I enter their world. That's where I learned this. Turns out it works with everybody. You do that with adults, even enter their world. Oh, you did the Iditarod? Hey, that looks great. I saw a whole documentary on it, blah, blah, blah. So you enter someone else's world, and that's how it's done. That's how it's done. Yeah, what are you doing? Can I play too? I try to do the hard stuff, but nothing works. I don't know. Are you the same one that asked about trying to make it easy? It's just something they have to do. You got to do what you need to do before you can do what you want to do. Got to get your schoolwork done. Then you can go out and play. Then you can, make it like an incentive. Like, yeah, you got to do your schoolwork, but, or so many different ways to go with this. With my kids, I never really had rules or anything. They just learned from a really young age to do the right thing. And the way they learned that was whenever they'd say, when they were tiny, they'd say, can I please have a cookie? And I'd say, sure, as soon as you put your toys away. And they'd run, get their toys away. They started to learn that you got to do the hard stuff before you get the easy, fun stuff. They just started to learn that. So then it got to a point where they wouldn't even ask for a cookie till they looked around. I would watch them. They'd be like 2. And they'd look around the room to see what had to get put away first. Plus, I did a toy rotation system, so there was never a lot of stuff out anyway. And they didn't have to put their toys away every single time they had a cookie. But if they wanted to go to the park or something, yeah, I always have to come home to a clean house. I'm really fussy. But anyway, that's why I had a toy rotation system going too, because they hardly had any toys out at any given time. So yeah, you got to do what you need to do before you can do what you want to do. Like, your kid's 6. I would say something like, lots of things I have to do that I don't want to do. And it's just part of life, kiddo. That's okay. You'll learn. Yeah, don't apologize for it. I have to pay the water bill. I have to pay the hydro bill. I don't want to do that either. Got to do it. So they're going to look at you like, yeah, I don't care about that. Okay. Love your videos. No nonsense advice and very helpful. Great. Yeah, I can't do nonsense. I don't have it in me. I don't have a filter. Sometimes I wish I had more of one, but then I don't know. It's not my style. Oh God, I hate phony. Probably one of my least personality traits with anybody is phoniness. That charming person, they're the ones that red flag to me. What are they hiding? Whenever someone has a filter, I'm thinking, what are they hiding? What are they filtering? Like, I don't have a filter because I'm not worried about what I'm going to say. I'm never going to say anything horrible, because I'm not a horrible person. But I always figure the more charming you are, the more you've got to hide. So yeah, I like hearing it straight from people. Happy to see you at midnight. So you must be somewhere. I don't know where you would be. I lived in Australia for 20 years, so I was used to big time zone problems with talking to people in Canada, where I'm from. How would you encourage a 4-year-old eat faster? Oh, I can't comment on that because that could be a medical issue. I can't comment on that. I can't discuss anything medical or nutritional or anything like that. I'm not qualified. I'm just a parenting coach. I have 0 qualifications. I just have tons of experience and common sense, right? But yeah, I have no qualifications. Okay. How to get a 2-year-old to sleep in their own bed. You can check out my boot camp course for toddlers. That's there's 2 boot camp courses, one for toddlers under 3 and then one for 3 and above. They both have the bedtime battles in it. Basically, it's in 2 parts. The first part is the routine, how to get them in bed. The second part is how to keep them there. Yeah, it's a whole routine. You might want to check into that. But I've probably got other videos where I've talked about it. So if you look up bedtime, BratBusters bedtime, it'll turn up somewhere. So I just don't always feel like going into detail about those things. I've got so much information on anyway. It's all out there. Like, you would never have to buy a course off me if you were to watch all my videos. But the course just obviously packages all the information up. Coaching's different because I get to know you. But yeah, it's like anything though. If you don't ever have to buy a course off anyone, but if you want to spend like a few weeks going through all the information out there, you pay for someone compiling all the information and packaging it up. Okay. Okay. Hi, Lisa from Nat on YouTube. Remember, I'm on YouTube the whole time whenever I'm doing a live. That's where all my lives are saved. Can you explain some realistic expectations to have for close relatives? Oh, okay. I don't like telling other people how to handle my kids who spend a lot of time with your kids. My son has been running to grandma when he's in trouble. Should she discipline? No. Certainly not when you're around. Just say, oh, go see mom. So they always defer to you. But if she's alone with her, then, if you trust someone to look after your kids, don't micromanage them. Let them do whatever they want. If you trust them, then don't micromanage them. But when the parents are around, there's no way, like I've got a grandchild, there's no way I would discipline my grandchild if the parents were there. Like I just wouldn't do it. But if I've got her on my own, well, she's too little right now anyway. She's still just a baby. She's only 13 months now, or 12 months. Anyway, but yeah, if it's on my own with her, then I'm still very aware that she's not my kid. She's someone else's kid. If I knew that they liked a certain style with her, then I would respect that and follow their style. So that's just because it's none of my business how they parent. They're her, she belongs to them. Not that you can own her, but you know what I mean. They're the parents. So I would respect that. But basically it's grandma's rules, if I've got her alone. So I'm just scrolling here. What a really small group here on Facebook. Am I on Facebook? Yeah, it's really small. Wow. It's only 28 people here. People come and go, but that's one of the smallest lives at 30. It's one of the smallest lives I've ever had on here. Interesting. I wonder why. Maybe the time of the day. I'm not usually on at this time. Doesn't matter. Basically, how can other family members realistically support your parenting? I don't get into all that. I don't get into adult relationships and that's up to you to figure that one out. I teach you how to be a leader. I don't teach you how to manage all the adults in your life around your children at all. I don't do that. Okay, good one. Gabriella. My almost 3-year-old talks, this is an easy one. My almost 3-year-old talks back at us when she's upset at times. If we say that something's not very nice, for example, she would yell, "That's not very nice." Why are you saying that's not very nice? Like you're just trying to use reasoning with her. She's 3 years old. If she says something that's not very, but I don't address attitude actually, but if she does something, I just say, "Oh, well, that was bad. Here's your consequence." Use the behavior board, just deal with it. Don't say that's not very nice. It would be like a cop yelling at you as you speed by. "That's not very nice." Where's the lesson? Wouldn't you just go, ha ha, like no ticket or anything, no consequence? Saying that's not very nice does squat. All it is just blaming and shaming, but there's no lesson in it. None. That's not very nice. Yeah, so what's your point? That's not very nice. Oh, that's what she says back to you. That's my gut reaction too. That's not very nice. Yeah, that's not very nice. Like, what's your point? Yeah, has to be a consequence. Okay. Actually, what times? I got to get going over to Instagram now. If you want to join me over there, I'm on YouTube the whole time. Check out my website, BratBusters.com. You can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, and our podcast. I do it with my daughter. We just have a blast doing it. And anyway, so thanks so much. I'm popping over to Instagram to do another live over there. Happy parenting. Yeah, I've just allocated 20 minutes to each one, but I've gone over time. Just because I got to get back to stuff here. I actually am trying to avoid some work I'm doing. I did need a break. It's all financial stuff. It's just a nightmare. But I got to get back to it. This is relaxing for me. Doing a live is relaxation for me. I only just got the notification 2 minutes ago. Yeah, I don't know how it does that. Instagram, everyone turns up, bang, right away, all exact same time. They send it out to everybody, but the other ones, they do it sporadically. They don't send out notifications to everybody at the same time. They sporadically do it. So I know they do because of the way people come in. But yeah, Instagram within 10 seconds, I've usually got 100 people in here. So yeah, 63, 76. Yeah, Instagram's the only one that does that. Are you guys excited that TikTok's still in the United States? I'm in Canada, so it wouldn't have affected me. It probably wouldn't affect my business much either. That is my biggest platform. I am addicted to TikTok. I have to put a timer on when I'm watching TikTok so I don't go crazy with it. I could easily lose 3 hours of my life just looking at TikTok. I didn't think I'd ever get addicted to it, but I did. Anyway, okay, welcome. I'm on Instagram now. I'm also on YouTube, which is where I save all my lives. Thanks so much for joining me. If you're new, welcome. If not, welcome back. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach, a mother. I'm also a grandmother. So you can check out my website, BratBusters.com. You can see my free behavior board, my courses, coaching, and you can look into our podcast. I do it with my daughter. We work together. We're family business. And what else? Yeah, and we have a blast doing it. It's quite new. It's about 3 months old now. No, I think we've got 25 out there. One of them coming up. I don't know which one it is. Oh, I can't even think about it without cringing. I was really stupid on it. But I told my daughter, you leave that in. I want people to see how stupid I can be sometimes. It's really embarrassing what I said. Anyway. Okay, so let's get going. Did you know the things that we do wrong, it's our vulnerabilities and our flaws, so long as they're not mean or nasty. Those are the things that connect us with people. You ever do anything silly and someone sees it at the same time and you don't even know them and you both giggle together because you just tripped over something they were like, just stuff like that. I love stuff like that. I believe that it's our vulnerability that connects us with people. So yeah, that's why I wanted her to leave that in there. Makes me look really dopey. Okay. Let's get going with your questions. Sorry, I've got to scroll ahead to make sure you're still here. My children are grown, but I work in the early childhood education in Australia. I run the toddler room, so need all the advice. Yeah, some of it can cross over, some of it can't, because I teach parenting, not teaching or daycaring or anything like that. A large portion of my clients are teachers, principals, and child psychologists. I couldn't do their jobs, and they often struggle with parenting. They try and transfer everything they know from their jobs over into the home. Doesn't always work that way. And vice versa. You can't take everything from the home and put it into a classroom or a daycare, but a lot of it does cross over. I remember I used to spend hours, and I was all volunteer work when I was working with kids, and I would sit in the back of classrooms just dealing with the difficult, behaviorally challenging kids, just trying to keep them out of the teacher's hair for a while. And I remember watching teachers. I remember so often the teacher would do something inappropriate, like just yell at the kids or something. Then if they didn't know me, they'd look over like this, like scared. And I'm just like this, didn't see anything. What a difficult job. I could never be a teacher. I don't know how they do it. They're like freaking saints to me. God, what a difficult job. You know, this is my attitude. It's my job to send nice kids to school. That's my job. I don't want teachers having to deal with my kids' bad behavior. That's just over the top ridiculous. So to me, that's what I said. And when I said when my kids were first in grade 1, I said, if my kids ever step a toe out of line, never discipline them. Tell me about it and I'll deal with it. That's my job. Teachers love me. That's my job, to send nice kids to school. You want to send nice humans out into the world, okay? Don't expect other people to clean up the mess. You do it at home. Firstly, hi from Australia. Love your videos. Can I set boundaries for my 11-month-old? If so, how? No, not really. Not until they're about 15 months, 16 months, where we kind of start doing that. You just do what I call I don't have a term for it, or I did, but I didn't really like it, so I tossed it. But I just say to a baby, I just say no, and then I redirect. But you never say no that it makes them cry, no matter what they do. Just say no, except I screamed at my kids, just like in pain, when I was breastfeeding and they got their teeth in. That was just came out. I'm not a yeller at all, but it came out. I don't really call that yelling. That was more screaming in agony. But boy, did that scare them. Not my fault. I'm allowed to scream in pain. What to do when my 2.5-year-old acts out at grandma's house, tantrums, refusal to do anything. For example, even say, well, if they're going to act out at home, they're going to act out when they're out. So fix the home base. Everyone wants to know, well, it's almost like, yeah, they're like that at home, but it doesn't bother me. But when we go out, it bothers me. You got to be the exact same parent everywhere you go. My kids knew if they ever acted out in public and they got eye contact with me, it would have ended right away. They would have stopped whatever they were doing. I'm the exact same mother no matter where I am. So be consistent. That's what that says. It's inconsistent. Because why are you not concerned with tantrums at home? Or sometimes they act out more because they know you're not going to discipline them when you're out because you're too embarrassed. I have no shame in discipline. I'm proud of disciplining my children when I'm out. Wouldn't have bothered me at all. Well, they're 35 and 30. I don't do that anymore, but trust me, I won't be saying that's not very nice anymore. Do you understand why? Gabriella said, I was trying to say to my daughter when she was being cheeky, that's not very nice. It's just, it's so pointless, really. And it would be like saying, gee, you're rotten. Where's the lesson, though? You're just pointing out what she is. Not very nice. Where's the lesson? So just for people who might not have heard that, that was when I was on Facebook that question came up on YouTube, because I'm on YouTube the whole time too. That's where I'm on YouTube when I'm doing a live the whole time. And then I jump from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. My 2.5-year-old throws a fit when we don't pick her up. Let her throw a fit. If you don't need to pick her up, and there's no need to do it, and she's just doing it because she's demanding, let her throw a fit. Everyone says, well, if we don't do what she wants, she has a fit. That's wonderful. That's her lesson. Her lesson is her fit, her scene, her tantrum, her meltdown is her understanding you're in charge and she isn't. That's all it is. Allow her to have a fit. You know, you got to walk into the storm to get to the rainbow. Everyone's trying to avoid, you're all trying to sidestep around that storm to get to the rainbow. It's cheating. It doesn't work that way. You got to show no fear. It's like that 8-year-old kid that said to me, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to have a fit. And I said to him, bring it on. And he never did. You could just see him computing right away. Oh, she knows what she's doing. And he was great with me. Okay. I was kind of disappointed. I know how to handle a kid having a fit. Doesn't bother me at all. So yeah, that's the lesson, because that's them processing, I'm the leader. They're not. So don't be afraid of the fit scenes, meltdowns, and tantrums. Those are the lessons. That's good stuff. You got to go through those storms to get to the rainbow. Okay, whoops. I'm going to scroll ahead to make sure you're still here when I answer your question. If anyone has older kids, I specialize in teenagers. But on these lives, it's usually parents with younger kids. I'm not sure why. I haven't really thought much about it, but yeah, so I specialize in teenagers. So if you have a teenager, ask away. Oftentimes I have to say, sorry, that would be coaching. So maybe that's why they don't ask me questions, because I need background information, but sometimes it's straightforward. Teenagers are more complicated. They're by far my favorite age, but they're more complicated. So I need more information to give you a really good answer, but sometimes it's just a quick answer. How to handle 9-month-olds screaming and crying when it seems you've met all their needs. Can you even do anything at this age? Ooh, you're not going to like my answer. I even had friends criticize me for this. If a baby cries, I pick them up. I meet their needs and I meet their wants when they're babies. If they're screaming because they want to be cuddled, yep. They haven't got much else they can do. That's the thing. When they're up on their feet walking around, they've got other stuff they can do. You're their whole world right now. If you don't pick them up, what else are they going to do? That's why. It's because they're so helpless. It's like that saying that's going around right now. Your dog is your friend. What is it? Your dog is your friend for a few years, but your dog is your friend when you're home from work or something, but you're their whole world. Like you're all they have. It's like that with a baby. They don't have anything else to do. It's not like they can go and play with blocks really, or you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's why if my babies cried, I picked them up. Not saying you should. You can't always do that, but I did definitely cater to that. Now, you're asking me how to manage a partner who screams and uses a lot of words with toddlers. I don't teach people how to handle adults. That's your relationship stuff. So yeah, they'd have to hire me for coaching or just buy a course or something, but they would have to want to do it. I can't tell you how to manage another adult. It's not what I do. And you can't anyway. It's kind of impossible to manage an adult. You can get them to want to manage themselves. In coaching, I get a lot of this where people don't agree on stuff, but in coaching, it's my job to sort of get them on board. You'd be surprised how many people hire me and I say, would your ex be on board? Would your ex, if you forfeit one of the sessions, would your ex be willing to talk to me? You'd be surprised how many do. I'm on everybody's side. I want everyone to get along. So yeah, usually in coaching, I can get them on the same page, but not always. That's your challenge. I also have an 18-year-old son. Oh my. I don't know how old your first one was. I can't go back. I get dizzy if I go back in the comments, if I scroll. Well, you need to put the age down. This is Andy Glotcher. Your advice has helped me a lot. Excellent. You know, most people are never going to hire me. So that's why we've got so much free stuff out there. I'm doing my darndest to make a difference out there because I want you to have fun with parenting. It's not just about raising nice kids. I want you to enjoy it. This is the most fun I ever had, was raising my kids. Okay, I do timeouts, about 3 minutes. I hate timeout. Yeah, get rid of it. I hate timeout. I can't stand it. It's useless. It's just a shaming technique. You go over there and you think about what you did. They're not. They're sitting there feeling like crap. And then after they're finished with the timeout, then you usually give them a lecture. So it's just a nightmare. Yeah, I can't stand timeout. So check out the behavior board. It's completely free. It teaches you how to get started with a 3-year-old. It starts at 3. So yeah, you could try that. But yeah, I hate timeout. I think it's just mean and useless. How to get 17-year-old and 15-year-old to put their shoes away in mudroom. Just have a consequence. You can say to them, look, from now on, I want your shoes in the mudroom within 5 minutes of arriving home. Okay, you have to put a time limit on it, or else they'll say, I'll do it before midnight. So then you say to them, what do you want from me? You have to be on that behavior board too. You call it the law or the rules or something, whatever you want to call it for teenagers. And you just put it up there and say, here, your rule is, and there's a consequence if they don't. But you say, now, what do you want from me? They'll usually say, get off my back. And I say, well, that's not going to happen. So let's try and narrow it down to something a little bit more specific. So yeah, start there. How do you feel about sleep training? There's a million different ways of doing it, so I can't comment on that. And also, that's not something I have much of an opinion on. I did it with my kids. I just let them cry it out. But every 5 minutes, I'd go in when they were babies. And I'd go in and pat them on the back, try to get them to lay down again. But, they're turning purple. They're sweating. There's snot running down their face. And then I'd have to oh, God, it was a nightmare. So then I'd go out in the hallway and just close their door, and I'd sit and cry into a pillow. But it only took one night with both my kids. I think my daughter was 8 months old. My son, I think, was 10 months old before they ever slept through a whole night. Well, my daughter, she would have slept through the whole night, but she slept with us. But neither one of us slept very well when we were sleeping with her because we just, in the middle of the night, oh, it's your turn. So we just light sleep because we were terrified of rolling over on her. But she would have slept she did sleep through the whole night. But with us, which I never wanted to do that. I was always afraid of smothering her. But anyway, yeah, that's what I did one night, and they were sleep trained. They slept through the night. Spanking, I never recommend spanking. Spanking's like yelling. It's something you do because you don't know what else to do. I remember your park story where you sat the child on the bench for 1 minute. Was that not timeout? Absolutely not. I never sat for 1 minute. I didn't say that. Also, I was there. Timeout is you go over there by yourself. And that was during a tantrum. What you're talking about is the consequence. Yeah, and that's completely different. Yeah, I would never have said 1 minute. I just waited till the tantrum was over. And I was right there. And there was no bad behavior, just a tantrum. A tantrum is not bad behavior. A tantrum is a loss of emotional control at not getting what they want, when they want, and how they want it. You do not need to validate anything around that. Yeah, so I never would have said that. Sometimes people will quote me, and it's wrong. That's wrong. That wasn't me. Okay, then what do I do? Is it timeout? Yeah, I sit with them and I don't. Oh, no, just check out the behavior board, okay? Check it out. It's completely free, and it'll explain how you discipline. Yeah, you said I did sleep training, and they both slept through it 4-ish months. Yeah, I couldn't do it that early. I mean, we all have our own comfort zones. I just thought 4 months for me, I wasn't comfortable doing it. It was like 8 to 10 months I did it with both my kids. Actually, I think it was later with my son. He was my first, so I was even softer with him. But my daughter I did younger because I wanted her in her own bed. That was why I know. She was 8 months old when we finally stopped co-sleeping because I was worried that she'd roll off the bed because she was rolling in that. That was why. But yeah, and it's a comfort thing. I don't have a big opinion on sleep training. It's more of a comfort thing, like what you're comfortable doing. Where's the behavior board? It's on BratBusters.com. That's my website. If you want to check that out, just go there. Make sure you get the right website, BratBusters.com. There'll be links above for it. There's, I've got a big following now. So there's a lot of imposters out there taking money from parents saying that they are me. And nothing I can do about it. You shut them down, shut one down, 20 more open up. It's just the way it is. So make sure you get the right link. If it's up above, this is me. I'm doing a live. So yeah, this is me. But there's lots of people using all my videos, taking money from people. Yeah, they're making a lot of money off my videos too, just by ads and everything. That's okay. That doesn't bother me as much. It's when they take it off parents, it bothers me. Because eventually those parents will find me and say, you never got back to me. Well, that's because you weren't talking. You didn't give me the money. You gave it to someone else who was impersonating me. So be careful with that. You can't stop this. It's out there with everything, right? They're usually somewhere in Africa or India, evidently. Okay. Oh, geez. I'm so glad you asked this. What do you do if you say media blackout? So that's the second consequence. There's always two consequences on the behavior board for kids. The first one's a positive action, like a chore. If they won't do that as the consequence for breaking the rule, then you say, fine, okay, the 15 minutes is up. You didn't do the chore. Now you've got media blackout for 24 hours. Now what you're saying is then they do the first consequence. Once you've started the 24-hour media blackout, I could care less if they do 20 things, 20 chores. Media blackout started 5 minutes ago or whenever. You never go back on that. But not fair, I did the chore. Remember the rule, the consequence is do the chore within 15 minutes of being asked to do so. 15 minutes was up, it wasn't done. Media blackout started. I forgot. Well, you'll know next time, won't you? Let the scene happen. Let it happen. That is the lesson. They only have the scene because they know you're weak. That's why my kids didn't have scenes, because they knew I would have gone, what are you, nuts? Like, that's not going to work on me. They only have scenes because they think they're in control of you. That you've taught them to have scenes. So yeah, no way. Once that media blackout started, I could care if they detail my car. So follow through with what you say. Say what you mean and mean what you say. If you don't, you're a liar. And they pick up on that. They won't trust you. Okay, it's a whole thing. Anyway, I got to go over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. And my name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach, a mom, and a grandmother. Check out the link above, and you can get my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, and you can look into the podcast. Podcast has taken off like a bullet. It's going fantastic. My daughter and I do it together because we work together. It's a family business. So we're having a blast doing it. I just found out yesterday, I think she spends 5 to 8 hours on each podcast editing it. She doesn't want, I keep saying, let's outsource half of the stuff she does, but she still likes to do it herself. She's a perfectionist. So, it's all timing and voice control, volume and all that. So yeah, 5 to 8 hours she spends on each podcast. So it just takes me like 30 minutes to do a podcast, but then she spends about 8 hours editing it. So yeah, congratulations to her. I mean, she's such a good worker. Jeez. If I had to hire people to do what she does, jeez, I'd probably have to hire 10 people. Anyway, so the podcast is lots of fun, so you might want to check that out. It's on all the platforms. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. I'm hopping over to TikTok now. Happy parenting. Now I'm on YouTube the whole time. Okay. Come on. Dying to see how many people turn up. Can you say no iPad on the board? Yeah, just media blackout, but that's the second consequence. But you can't put that down as a rule. Is that what you meant? I don't know what you mean. Okay. Sorry, this is when I usually take a break because my voice starts to go. So I just got to quiet for a minute. So I can feel my voice is getting all raspy. Someone said that I should drink like hot tea. I know I should. I just don't like it. Sometimes I'll have it. I'd rather drink something cold on ice. But yeah, I know. To save your voice, you're supposed to drink a hot drink. I'm rebellious. Okay. Wow. Hardly any people are on here so far. Am I on the right one? Yeah, I would be. Yes, I am. Anyway, that's okay. Slow start. I'm on here at a really weird time, and it's a Sunday afternoon. So congratulations to my American friends. I'm so glad that you're not gone. I don't think it would have made any difference to my business, but boy, I would have missed all your videos. I love most of the videos that I was watching seem to be mostly American, I'm assuming. It would have been a huge void in TikTok if you guys weren't here. So, okay. Hello from New Zealand. Hi, Haley. That's where we used to ski. We used to We used to ski down in Queenstown. Squee in Queenstown. Where are you Friday? Wait, where are you Friday? Don't know what you mean by that. Okay. Do you mean why wasn't I on a video? I don't do lives as much as I used to. We're just so busy these days. I mean, my daughter and I both work 7 days a week, but when we can, like we could take a day off. I'll be daycaring my granddaughter for a day a week, so I'll have to schedule that. But we both, because we work for ourselves and we make our own hours. So yeah, we literally work 7 days a week, but I don't coach every day, but I do other things. There's always stuff to do. Always. I try not to answer emails over the weekend. If you notice you don't hear from me over the weekend, that's why. But if you don't hear from me over the weekend and you're one of my coaching clients, then you'll be, I look at the emails in order, so you won't be missing a spot. No one else is going to get a session, like you'll get the first turn at whatever time you want, kind of thing. Watching you from the UK. I haven't been there since 1980 in the UK or anywhere Europe. Maybe I'll travel again. I'm here in Canada, but my kids were born and raised in Australia. So I was there for about 20 years. I only moved back to Canada because my mother was elderly. She was in her 80s, not doing very well. And I'm the only daughter. It's just different with daughters, right? So yeah, I felt like I had to move back, and I don't regret it. She died in my arms at 93, so I had a few good years with her before she passed, and no regrets, none. It was agony leaving Australia. That was home. I never, ever would have seen myself leaving Australia. Yeah, but anyway, I'm very lucky. I've got two countries that I feel at home in. The one I was born in and the one I raised my kids in, Australia and Canada. I also feel American. I don't know. Not many other people seem to feel that way. I feel very much like America and Canada. They're sort of the same. Am I the only one? Like, I don't seem to notice a difference. And I always feel like we're the same. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Okay. Wait, you can go live. I thought you were American. You can go live. I thought. Yeah, no, I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian and Australian. But no, I always felt American too. I always saw us as the same. I think I'm the only one who does. I don't know. Never really saw a big difference between. Although I remember years and years ago, I went down to San Francisco. I was there on my own, and I just went to a beach, and I ended up talking to this older couple. I would have been like in my early 20s. And I ended up talking to this older couple on the beach. And I said, I've just got one more night here, and then I'm going to head back up to Vancouver. I was flying up. So I said, and they said, where are you staying? And I said, I don't know yet, just some hotel. And they said, look, we're going to be away for the weekend. And we were just chatting away. They said, we'd like to offer you, we'll offer you our place for the night. They said, no one will be there. So, we're happy to we trust you. Unbelievable. I said, I didn't feel comfortable with that. I said, no, I can't. I said, what if something happened? What if I didn't lock a window properly and it got broken into? So they said, that's why we trust you, because you're so cautious. And no, I didn't end up doing it. But what I did do is I drove past their place. You should have seen it. I could tell that they had money. They lived in Sausalito, I think it was called. And it was this gorgeous mansion. But yeah, I would never have done that. But I thought, wow, that's American hospitality. Amazing. Every time I've been down there, something's amazed me like that with the hospitality. Yeah, I've never seen a big difference between the States and the South. I don't know a lot of people seem to think there's a difference. I don't know why. I don't get it. Yeah, America's back. Thank God. Oh, I would have missed your videos so much. I'm addicted to watching videos on TikTok. I would have missed so many. I mean, a lot of them are not American, but a lot of them are American. Geez, I would have missed them. Lisa, I'm an ex-primary school teacher and now a nanny. I love your methods. Yeah, I mean, I only teach parenting. I don't teach teaching or nannying because I don't know how to do those things. A lot of stuff does cross over though, but some doesn't, but a lot of stuff does cross over. So it's just common sense to me. But I never ever do what makes sense to adults with kids ever, because I'm kid taught. Kids taught me all this. So I always do what makes sense to the kid. Doesn't always make sense to the parents, which is fascinating because a lot of my clients say their kids, if they disagree with what they're doing, will say, can you ask Lisa if she agrees with you or me? Almost 99.9% of the time, I agree with the kid. I get kids. Kids get me. It's the parents that we don't always connect with when it comes to what kids need. So, but yeah, kids get this. So if what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for your kids. Like what I mean is I'm doing what makes sense to your kids that will work with them. You may not like it. You may go, what the heck? But trust me, it's what's best for them, what will communicate best to them. Does your tips work with autistic children? They don't always understand. Well, of course, that's more special needs. That would be coaching. A lot of it does. A lot of my clients who have autistic children have actually got the course and said it wasn't quite enough because they needed more specialized attention. But then some of them say that it has been enough. I'll even get emails and they'll say, I have an autistic child, on the spectrum, and a lot of your methods are helping. So, they're more specialized. So, and I've worked with a lot of autistic kids. And but what I've found with them is that I'm just throw mud at the wall and see what sticks. And often it's very different for each child. So, and some of them have extreme hypersensitivity to noise and stimulus and all that stuff. And some of them don't. So, although the most challenging kids that I work with throughout the years have consistently, aside from real crisis work, have been the ones that were born NAS babies, narcotic addiction syndrome babies. So they're born addicted to alcohol or drugs or something. What is damaged in their brain, and it lasts for life, but they can learn how to deal with it, is, how to find coping skills, is the impulse control. They don't tend to have much of it. So they tend to be more thrill seekers. They don't tend to stop and think before they act. I would say those teenagers are particularly challenging. But there's ways around it. You have to get coping mechanisms and skills and teach them other ways around it. But yeah, they battle that for life, but then they can learn how to manage it. But it is a challenge. What consequence can I use if my son doesn't care about anything? I don't know how old he is, so I can't answer that. I need an age. Oh, 3.5. Okay, you can always find something. There has to be a favorite toy, favorite activity, but don't take away love. You never take away a play date, but what you can do is say, well, we were going to go now, but because you did that, we're not going to go for another 30 minutes. So you can delay the gratification, delay the fun. That's one way you can do it. So you're probably never going to go at this time anyway, but you can tell them that, because you did that, now we're going to not go there. We were going to go to the park right now, but because you did that, we're not going to go for another 30 minutes. Stuff like that. It's called inventing leverage. So I got a toddler out in the hallway. Got a lot of little kids in my building. Can you hear him? His parents, I probably shouldn't identify anything about him, but it's cute as a button, this little guy. Okay. I've been following your way with my toddler and it's amazing. Excellent. Well, I just give you the advice. You're the one doing the work. So pat yourself on the back. That's good for you. Okay. And by the way, just so you know, sometimes clients will say to me, you didn't say hi. I said hi to you. I'll never say hi and acknowledge someone's a client on a live because I can't do that. I can't divulge that we're working together. So just to say that, because a few clients have said that. They said, I said hi to you, you didn't even say hi back. It's because I don't want to identify you as a client. That's why. See, you know what I mean? That's your privacy stuff. But a lot of people are quite happy with that. So, but still. Someone said, do they listen to your stuff? Yeah, I hear all about the toddler. Do they listen to your stuff? Between the states. Now, I never seen a big difference. This is Tabitha. What are you talking about, Tabitha? It's on YouTube. I never seen a big difference between the States and us either, right? Because as a Canadian, I always felt like Americans are the same as us. I never saw a difference. Yeah, I hear the toddler, LOL. Do they listen to your stuff, LOL? Do toddlers listen to my stuff? God, no. They're about actions anyway. I'm good at getting a toddler's attention. I'm really good at it. So if a toddler's going crazy and I've had to work with them or something and, they're just out of control, they're scared, they're crying for their parents or whatever, I'm really good at getting their attention. And I just do stuff like this. I'll show you. Toddlers are very, kind of like me. We're quite simple. I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not saying I'm really stupid, but I just like silly stuff. I always have. So, I was working with toddlers. Let's say one was really scared. They had separation anxiety. Their parent just left. I would just do something like this. Oh God, I don't even want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm not in the mood. And these little gripper things for your pencils, I'd shove them up my nose or in my ears. And then I just talk to them like, well, you know what we should do. And then you got their attention. Got them. Then I can work with them. Once you got their attention, you have to jump through hoops to keep it. When they're your own kids, you don't have time to do that all day long. But when I was working with kids, sometimes it's just a matter of grabbing their attention. And then you can do stuff. I got a few more minutes here. What do I say if my 3-year-old wants sweets, but she already got them today? Well, it's not a need. I don't talk about nutrition, but I'm probably the wrong person to ask about that. My kids rarely ever got junk food. Like we didn't have any junk food in the house. I made everything from scratch. So yeah, you made it sound like that's a requirement. They already had them today as if that's part of their daily diet. It's not a treat if they expect it. I used to tell my kids, if you ever ask for anything, you'll never get it because that's not a treat. That's me feeling a demand. So every so often I would give them a treat, but it was rare. Like maybe once every couple of weeks or something, they might get something small. We used to have these little things called tiny teddies in Australia, and they might get one of those every so often. But yeah, it makes it sound like they feel like they deserve to get that. You've made that part of their regular routine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I can't respond to that because I wouldn't do that. I would treat sweets like a rare occurrence, a treat, rather than filling a demand. So if they want more, you're already kind of sugaring them up already and, getting them addicted to it. And I don't know. I don't want to say much more about that. I know my kids used to, because I made everything from scratch. I made all the cakes and cookies and all that stuff, but it was very healthy, not much sugar or anything else that was horrible. But I remember they'd go to a friend's house for a birthday party or whatever, and have at it, eat whatever's there. I'm not going to micromanage you when you're out at a party. Just have at it. They always came home with a stomach ache because they weren't used to that stuff. That says a lot, doesn't it? And I remember my doctor said to me, because I can't handle sugar, like I just can't handle junk food at all. And he said, that's because you've got baby belly. And I said, what's that? And he goes, well, because you eat so clean. He said that you're just a perfect example of how bad that stuff is for us. We develop a tolerance to all that bad stuff, but we don't need it, obviously. I just don't have the tolerance for it as I drink my Diet Pepsi. That's my poison. So yeah, so much for my self-righteousness. At least I called myself out. No, I'm Canadian. Anyway, I remember as a kid, I never liked sugar. And I remember as a kid, all the kids would fight to sit beside me at a birthday party. Do you know why? Because I would scrape off all the icing off the cake and then hand it to whoever was beside me. I hated icing. I couldn't eat icing. So yeah, all the kids, and then I wouldn't even eat the whole cake, all my piece of cake. I just have to, and even they sometimes put that frosting in between layers, like, God, get rid of that garbage. And I have to scrape all that off and then try and eat around it. Oh, it was awful. So yeah, everyone loved to sit next to me at a party because I wouldn't eat the junk. But you know what? That's more my personal view. I'm not a nutritionist or a doctor, so I'm not giving recommendations on that. I'm just saying that that's how I viewed it. But that's my own personal view. It's a lot of stuff I don't give my opinion on. I just did give my opinion on that, or what I did, but it's sort of in the homeschooling, religion, all that stuff. It's personal. You do what you do. You do what suits you, right? Oh, sugar, I have to go. Oh, I hate what I'm working on today. That's why I did this live. Okay, I got to get back to work now. So if you want to check out my website, bratbusters.com, you can see my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching, and you can look into our podcasts. We've got a whole bunch of them. I think we've got 25 of them out now. We just started about 3 months ago. My daughter and I do it together. It's a family business here. And yeah, she does all the marketing and all the planning, and I do all the other stuff. I'm the product. She's the one pushing it. So I always say she's driving the truck. She's very driven with business and very organized. So she's driving the tractor, and I'm just in the trailer behind, hanging on for dear life in the business. So yeah, she got the podcast started. She runs it all. I'm just the one talking about parenting. So check that out. We're having a blast doing it together, mother-daughter. It's so ironic, mother-daughter, and it's a parenting business, and we do it together. Just couldn't be more. We work so well together. We're really close. But it couldn't be a better fit, you know. And yeah, she calls me out constantly on that podcast. It's lots of fun. Anyway, that's it. Thanks so much for joining me. And I'm so glad that you Americans are still on TikTok. I love watching all your videos on TikTok. I'm addicted to them. So I'm so glad that you're not gone. I didn't think you would be anyway. You were only blacked out for a few hours. So anyway, thank goodness. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. And someone said, helping this old grandma. I'm an old grandma too. So, okay. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll talk again soon. Happy parenting.